For a couple years now, we've been hearing about with this new Big 12. Oh, it's what a cute conference. Lots of parity, no great teams. Like nobody's actually very good in this league, but a bunch of teams close together, parity, you get close games. You can't trust anybody, wild losses all the time. And it's typically said in like this kind of condescending way. Now all of college football is exactly like the Big 12. All you had to do was wait it out a couple of years, and the entire landscape of college football looks exactly like the Big 12. So what do you have to say now? Everybody who has bestowed that narrative on us right now. Look, the Big 12 is a mess at the moment. It is a mess. I will listen to you if you want to say, hey, if Texas Tech gets Behren Morton healthy, they're still head and shoulders above everybody else in this league. All right, that's great. Behren Morton's been hurt 3 times already this year. There have been 3 different instances of him having an injury. So do we trust Behren Morton being healthy the rest of the year? Do we trust that? Clearly now, you shouldn't listen to me when I give you takes about Will Hammond because he has come way back down to earth. Can't start fast to save his life. Texas Tech is very much now just jumbled back up in this, right? I talked about BYU already. BYU has been the most consistent. They're the most reliable. They know exactly who they are. BYU is like I was going to say like a nice Camry or something. I don't mean that to be offensive. I drive a Camry. I love Camrys. They'd be like a nice brand new Camry, right? So it's going to be nice. It's going to be reliable. It knows what it is. It's not trying to be a Ferrari, okay? You know what you're going to get there. But you got to go, I don't know what the analogy is with the car. Take it through a crazy obstacle course. I don't know. You got to go through a really tough schedule to end the season. All these different teams. Arizona State's already lost twice. They have no margin for error. Sam Leavitt's been hurt. It's jumbled up. TCU has had some high moments, but they're also busy blowing 17-point leads and giving up multiple defensive touchdowns to the other team in a game. You can't really trust any of these teams. It's full-on chaos. It is full-on chaos. But the good news for the Big 12 is you're just mimicking the rest of the college football world right now. I mean, look at what happened this weekend alone. You don't have to go any further than just this weekend. Number 2, Miami lost on Friday to Louisville as a heavy favorite. Carson Beck threw 4 interceptions. Carson Beck is up at the podium throwing receivers under the bus for running the wrong route on one of his interceptions. Bad look. Can't be doing that, my friend. Miami, bit of a mess. Their head coach is Mario Cristobal. He's good at losing games that he should win. Ole Miss, I know it was Georgia. It was on the road. Tough to blame them too much for that, but Ole Miss loses. That's a top 10 team. They're number 5. Texas Tech, talked about them. They lost. LSU is number 10. They lost to Vandy, and Vandy looks like the better team. I mean, significantly the better team. They were favored for a reason. We only have 5 unbeaten Power 4 teams halfway through the season. Like this season is approaching like 2007 levels of zaniness and unpredictability and craziness in terms of who's in the top 10. Remember, 2007 was like your Rutgers, South Florida, Kansas, Missouri. The year where all those teams were in the top 10 having great years. It is typically referenced as like the wildest college football season of all time. I think what we're experiencing now is more like the norm. Like we're just heading into that with the talent more evenly dispersed and distributed in this era of NIL and the transfer portal. I mean, look at the ACC right now. If you want to talk about, hey, other conferences, again, this is the Big 12 takeover, right? The Big 12 has taken over what college football is like. It's no longer just, hey, this cutesy Big 12 conference over here where there's so much parity and you don't know what you're going to get and there are no dominant great teams. Miami, you thought was going to be that in the ACC. On the same weekend, we thought Miami and Texas Tech were 2 instances of, hey, these are 2 teams that are going to just run their leagues. They're dominant. They're so much better than everybody else. They both lost. In the span of 24 hours, they both lost. Florida State's 3-4. Clemson lost again. Dabo, that thing is circling the drain right now. None of those teams, well, Florida State and Clemson, they're not going to make the ACC title game. Right now, Miami wouldn't be in it either if the season ended today. Georgia Tech and Louisville, come on down, right? Virginia, legitimate contender in there this year. That's the state of the ACC. Okay, so yes, some bigger brand names, but what good are Florida State and Clemson doing you this year? And then Miami, who you thought you could trust, it turns out, well, you can't. You can't trust the Canes either. The best team in the SEC, right? Let's go to the SEC, okay? Big bad SEC. Well, first of all, Brent Venables has already been answering questions within the past week about how close every single game in the SEC is. It's where he took his little pot shot at the Big 12. But that's because every game in the SEC is close. You have nobody that can distance themselves from anybody. Texas is in overtime with Kentucky. Mizzou's in overtime with Auburn. Both of those teams, by the way, should have gotten beat, but it did not happen. The SEC is kind of a meat grinder where you don't know what you're going to get. And all these teams are very close to each other and similar in resources and similar in ability. And that means it's really hard to predict. In other words, exactly what has been said about the new Big 12 for the last couple of years. Big 12 takeover, folks. But the best team in the SEC, that's Alabama, right? They're starting to look like a legit national title contender right now. Guess who they lost to start the year? 3-4 Florida State, right? All the conversation today is about Mike Norvell maybe getting fired. Billy Napier's out. Mike Norvell might not be far behind him. The word today was that Florida State's boosters were all meeting about it, and it sounds like that could happen even this week. Okay, what about the Big Ten, John? All right, fine. We'll go to the Big Ten. Yes, Ohio State does look rock solid atop the college football world as the best team in the land right now, okay? But who's number 2? Literally in the country and in the Big Ten, it's Indiana. Indiana, who just paid, $90 million for Kurtz. Indiana is number 2. Indiana is going on the road and thumping Oregon. Handling Oregon. That's the state of college football right now. I got news for you, folks. It's crazy. And so this projection of a narrative onto the Big 12 that was, I won't say not fair because it's not like it wasn't totally inaccurate, but the tone in which it was always said with this cutesy little conference, it has all this parity because it's really not that good. Well, now let's see an answer for the whole state of the sport, for all of this, the gift where it's just like this, that's the sport right now, man. It's crazy and in a good way. That's the other thing. This is a good thing. I saw a tweet at one point this weekend. I went back to find it. I couldn't. I got to start remembering to like these things or bookmark these tweets so I can come back to them. But it was a tweet from someone who was like, hey, this is a take that probably won't be popular, but college football is not in a great spot because we don't have any good teams. None of these teams are actually good. They're losing games. And I thought, well, dude, why do we love college football? We love college football because it is different from the NFL, which is definitely, yes, there are a lot of close games, but generally it's much more predictable in terms of who's going to be good. We like college football because there's so much more zaniness and variability. The fact that Indiana, Georgia Tech, teams like that can be in the top 10 right now. I'm forgetting one too. Vandy, Indiana, Georgia Tech, and Vandy are all in the top 10 right now. That's why we love college football. It is a great thing. And by the way, it's not that none of those teams aren't good. It's that there's not a dominant elite team. You have a lot of good to great teams. There's not a dominant elite team. And I feel like that drives people nuts in this era where everything is either great or it's trash. Buns, whatever, whatever you Gen Zers want to say that drives me nuts. All your lingo. Nobody can just accept hey, there are a bunch of pretty good teams. You're not bad just because you lose a game. We got to recalibrate some expectations and adjust to what the sport is now, which is that teams are going to suffer more losses. And this Big 12 fans need to realize this, but so do fans across the entire country, across the entire sport. Your team's going to lose more games. The talent is too spread out. That's just the way that it's going to go. We're getting a more expanded playoff. It's probably going to expand even more. It's moving toward that, and that's going to give you more grace to lose games. We may not like it. I certainly don't like it. I liked the way that it was 10, 15, 20 years ago in college football where it's like, hey, man, every game matters so much. One regular season loss can totally derail you. That was another thing that made the sport unique. We're moving away from that, and you got to recalibrate, man. You got to recalibrate and adjust your expectations because right now we're just getting everybody reacting in crazy ways. Like, oh, we'll pay James Franklin $50 million to go away. Florida State, according to Pete Nakos of On3, the total price tag for getting rid of Mike Norvell, his staff, and then hiring a new staff, they ballpark it at around $100 million. It's insane. That's insane. But nobody has any patience for anything anymore. And I'm not Look, Florida State fans, that's not really like a crack against you. I understand how bad it's been. You lost 9 straight ACC games. I get it, right? But these are wild times that we're living in, unprecedented, frankly, in what college football has been. And I don't think it's changing anytime soon. I don't think Georgia is going to be hoarding second and third string rosters that could still be 9-win SEC teams anymore. I don't think that's going to be the case. All of this, what does it mean for the Big 12 other than, John, it is just funny, yes, to throw this back in the face of everybody who's kind of looked down upon the Big 12 for being a league with a bunch of parity and a bunch of teams that are very evenly matched and evenly resourced. I think this is a world where you feel like the Big 12 has a better shot to compete near the top. I know that I'm kind of doing exactly what I'm saying you shouldn't do now, because saw someone else say, hey, you can't helmet scout as much anymore, as in just look at the logo on the helmet and make a prediction or prognostication based on the game. But let's just say it out loud here. If this is a world where Indiana, Vandy, and Georgia Tech can all be in the top 10, you'd rather have that world for the Big 12 to try and compete in than the old world, where it was just going to be all Texas, Georgia. It's the old world. It wasn't Texas, where it was going to be Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and like nobody else. You get only those brands. No, this is a good thing, not just for the entertainment value, but for the Big 12. So embrace how wild the Big 12 is right now. Embrace how wild the Big 12 feels, and embrace it across college football. Bring more of the Big 12 across. Make college football Big 12 again. I should have just led with that. Make college football Big 12 again. Who's going to make me a hat? Somebody make me a hat. Let's get it in the merch store. Make college football Big 12 again. That's what's happening right now. Okay? That's what's happening right now.